And thank you so much for watching. Lots more coming up. Craig Kelly, Brendan O'Neill. You don't want to miss any of that. Well, a disturbing story in The Australian on the weekend highlighted the extent to which identity politics is corrupting not only schools, as Mark Latham and I were just discussing, but also universities, with class, race and gender increasingly dominating the teaching of things like history, politics and even literature. The unbelievable extent of this has been revealed by a report by the IPA, the Institute of Public Affairs in Melbourne, who did an audit of the Bachelor of Arts subjects of 10 different universities. The audit found that in over 1,100 subjects, 572 of them, that's 44%, featured identity politics, while a further, and this is really troubling, a further 380 subjects included the controversial and, in my view, sinister topic of critical race theory. This is the nonsense born in the USA that everything bad in the world is the result of white privilege and structural racism. Joining me now from the IPA is Bella Dabrera, who with her colleagues conducted the audit. Bella, great to see you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Great to be back on the show.
Excellent. Well, first of all, Bella, before we get into the specifics, what is wrong with people choosing to study these subjects if they feel so inclined? Surely that's what academic freedom is all about.
It certainly is. Look, there's nothing wrong with them wanting to choose these subjects, but it's the only option available to them. They have no choice. If someone wants to go and do a Bachelor of Arts now and study English literature, they're not going to get anything to do with Shakespeare or Jane Austen or Dante or anything of any consequence. All they're going to get is critical theory. So the problem with the way the humanities are taught at the moment is that it's a very narrow view of the world. It's critical race theory, it's identity politics, and it's gender.
Well, let's look at some of the absurdities included in these courses, Bella. You've listed a few of them, and oh my God. Let's kick off. Gender Studies at Macquarie University and their Introduction to Indigenous Queer Studies. Got that? Okay. Well, according to the blurb, this unit prioritises the voices and perspectives of Indigenous queer populations as transformative of the social, cultural and political landscapes of Australia and beyond. This unit will explore Indigenous queer with blah, blah, blah. You get the sense. Enriching, recalibrating. Honestly, this stuff. Can it translate for us, Bella? What's that one about?
Well, look, this is a strange fad now where they're combining disciplines. So this is gender studies and Indigenous studies sort of amalgamated in one bizarre subject, which is very much, the narrative of critical race theory and identity politics, and this idea that we have to study a certain group of people because they deserve to have the spotlight shone on them as opposed to the rest of Australia. And, this subject is actually followed up by another one that's even worse, which is even more difficult to explain. But you can take that in your second year. If you haven't had enough of it in the first year, you can go back and
oh, hang on, I've got it here, Bella. Global Indigenous queer identities, which interrogates and challenges the influence and enforcement of Western gender and sexual norms on embedding and understanding. Oh my God. How do kids wade through this stuff? And more importantly, Bella, what jobs are at the end of this ridiculous course?
There are a lot of jobs available at the end of this ridiculous course, and this is the very problem.
Yes.
So they're going into the public service, they're going into the boardrooms, they're going into the workplace, and they're becoming diversity officers. And they're filled with this zealous social justice rubbish, and they're going into the workplaces. And I think you can't underestimate the danger of these courses. I mean, we might laugh with them and we mock them, and they're sort of parodies, really, aren't they, of what you'd expect now to find in something like a social sciences department of the University of Sydney. But I don't think we can underestimate just how dangerous they are. And the fact that people are taking these ideologies and going into society and using these divisive ideologies to pit us against each other on the basis of our immutable characteristics.
Well, another one, Bella, at English Literature, University of Sydney, Post-Colonial Modernism Modernities. This unit examines literary and cultural expressions of modernity in sites that were or continue to be colonised. Are places being colonised in Australia at the moment? Would you believe that if you took a university student and asked them what places have been colonised in Australia, they'd give you a list, presumably, Bella?
I think they'd struggle to give you a list. But the problem with, of course, with postmodernism is they conflate the past and the present. So we're still, according to postmodernism, suffering from colonizations of countries that happened 200 years ago in different continents. So they're still carrying this pain, which is why they have to have a subject sort of, unwrapping and unraveling and trying to work out how do we work through this pain. And we work through this pain by dissecting and, destroying the Western canon. And this is the problem with the way that English literature is taught. It's not holding in English literature as something that's worth studying. It's basically saying we have to destroy it. We have to use critical theory to destroy it.
Bella, just quickly before we go, you've done the audit with the IPA. What do you hope happens from this audit? What's been the reaction to the audit?
Well, I hope that students will take a good look at the courses before they enroll in any of the arts subjects that are currently on offer. And you must remember that this is the top 10 ranked universities in Australia. This is not the bottom 10 ranked universities. So they should be very careful about where they go to study.
Good, I think so. And I think, sorry, Bella, I don't want you to get inundated with emails, but I suggest people contact the IPA if parents are worried or grandparents and check up with the IPA where there are some proper, decent courses worth studying. Bella de Brera, thank you so much, and I urge viewers to go to ipa.org.au and maybe subscribe. It's a great organisation. Bella de Brera, thanks so much. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, Rowan.